Hi, Kimberly Kennedy with Next Move Realty, also working with TARDIS Wealth Strategies. I am super excited to introduce the Income Snowball Strategy of investing today. In this webinar, we're going to walk through how you can use OPM, other people's money, to stack your cash flow and compound that growth and have a clear plan moving forward toward whatever goal you're working for or looking for. Are you a business owner looking just to cover monthly expenses if the business isn't performing as expected? Are you an investor looking to purchase your next real estate property and not sure where that capital is coming from? Or are you just looking to save for retirement and want to have a clear and concise plan to work from? And is there some debt that maybe you want to pay off at the same time? TARDIS Wealth Strategies can help you walk through a plan to get to your financial freedom date using a patented system that we've been using for over 20 years. I'm excited to introduce it to you, and let's get started. Hi, thank you for joining me. This is a pre-recorded webinar introducing the Income Snowball and TARDIS Wealth Coaching. At the end of the presentation, there'll be a link where we can schedule a meeting and I can answer all of your questions. So let's get started. My journey to financial freedom. So on today's agenda, we're going to go through about the importance of having a clear plan for reaching your financial goals or any goal in general. We're going to go through the proven patented system of investing. And then we're going to walk through how wealth coaching guides you and holds you accountable, which is something that we all need. I'm going to move myself so I can click through the slides. Okay, my name is Kimberly Kennedy with Next Move Real Estate and Wealth Strategies. I'm a business owner, serial entrepreneur, real estate investor, and wealth coach. And this is my story. How did I find TARDIS? So in my past life, I was an auditor for a Big Four financial accounting firm, which was really exciting. I lived in Las Vegas. We audited the casinos on the Strip. We also audited sporting goods stores, sushi restaurants. It really allowed me to see how businesses make money, how cash flow flows through those businesses, and how much money they spend. And around 2016, my grandmother was sick. We moved to Utah and I became the audit director for the Bank of Utah here. Not so much fun auditing the bank as it was auditing casinos. So I quickly got my real estate license about a year after being in that position. I went from a corporate job with benefits to a commission job with no benefits. If you were to look at our financial statement on an annual basis, we were doing pretty good. But if you would ask me in March when I was waiting for a transaction to close, it might have been a little bit stressful at my house. So with a lot of trial and error, we finally found TARDIS and we began our Income Snowball. And the peace of mind that the monthly income brought me as a business owner to know that if my expenses needed to be covered or my mortgage needed to be covered, I knew that we were going to be okay. So this brought so much peace into our world. I've been a coach with TARDIS for 2 years, and I've seen people go from owning a business, having monthly income to cover when the business isn't performing. I've seen students pay off student loan debt. I've seen couples become on the same page and really understand how their finances are being invested. I've seen people plan for retirement, take Social Security earlier so that they can multiply and compound that income. So from a corporate position to a business owner with uncertainty, no time off, searching for answers. What are your goals, right? What have we accomplished so far? And do we feel confident that we're going to reach our goals? Having a plan is helpful and coaching. So let's talk a little bit about this. My goal was simply to start investing and create some income, which started within 45 days from getting the account set up and moving forward. I have accomplished so much since beginning my snowball, but I've also seen clients accomplish even more. Also, I have someone I can talk with. When I have an investment opportunity come in, I tend to be shiny object. I like to see new things. I get excited. Ultimately, that can lead to some missteps. So having someone ask some questions, making sure that you're in alignment with what your original goals started. Having a clear plan that brings me back to what our goals were. And then coaching can be definitely the value in coaching that you get keeps you on track. So This is a disclaimer. These opinions expressed during this presentation do not represent Next Move or TARDIS Wealth Strategies. I am affiliate. If you sign up, I could get some type of commission off of that sign up. Hey, fun stuff. Let's talk about a instant wealth assessment. So to get started with this, we're going to talk about what our monthly living expenses are. Typically right now, I see people's monthly living expenses being around $5,000, right? So $60,000 a year. Now let's go ahead and take our monthly living expenses, about $5,000, and multiply that by 12. So 5,000 times 12 gets us to a $60,000 annual income. Now, if you were to invest in a brokerage account, hopefully you would get a minimum of 5% return. So this is really what we're comparing it to. Typically you don't get 5%, but if you are, great. So let's divide this 60,000 annual income by 0.05%. This is saying that we're going to need about $1.2 million to be able to retire, meaning that we're going to be financially free when our income covers our expenses. How long is it going to take us to earn or save $1.2 million? And so this is the amount that experts recommend that you need to retire. When we talk about experts and getting a financial education, I came from, a business degree, going through getting my CPA license and all of those things, and I still wasn't taught properly about managing cash flow. We have clients that come from all walks of life, including partners, including people who are accountants, that are just realizing the power of investing with your monthly cash flow. So calculating cash flow, income, it's whatever you take home at the end of the month. How much money do you take home? Minus your expenses, bills, debt payment, fund money, anything you have, right? Anything that comes out on a monthly basis. Then what you have left over is your cash flow, right? The money that you might be putting into a savings account, you might be putting towards retirement. Is there a higher and better use for this money? Okay, so let's see now if we're on track. We're going to start with our monthly cash flow. Typically, let's say $1,500. After we have our income coming in, we paid for all of our expenses, we typically have $1,500 that we can save, we can put towards retirement, we can blow, we can plan for a vacation. $1,500 each month that maybe is disappearing because we're just not paying attention, right? So we're going to take our Wall Street retirement number. Now remember, that's what Wall Street or the experts tell us we're going to need saved to be able to cover our expenses on a monthly basis. So if our monthly cash flow is $1,500, we're going to divide that retirement number by $1,500 cash flow. So here we are, 1.2 million divided by 1,500 a month gets us about 800 months that we'll need to save for retirement. And how many years is that? Let's see. 67-ish years to help you save for that number. Now, I don't have 66 years left in this lifetime, and for most of us, we don't. And we typically don't want to wait until we get to that age to be able to have money and live the life that we deserve. So let's see what we can do about that. Did you do that activity by yourself? Just remember taking your monthly expenses. How much money do we need to cover our expenses on a monthly basis? Annualizing that by multiplying by 12. And then divide it by about 5%. That's the total amount that you're going to need to generate enough income to cover your monthly expenses. And if we had $1,500 in cash flow, it'd take us about 66 years to get there. What does your number say? What did you get? Okay. So the average American needs $5,000 per month, $60,000 per year in passive income to retire. Doesn't that sound more attainable? Of course, right? So this is Tanisha and Chris Souza. This began with Tanisha, worked overtime, had a bunch of student loan debt, and I'm sure you know someone in your life that's had student loan debt. They used their savings to flip a house. They started with some commercial real estate, and they created enough passive income for them both to quit their jobs. They wanted to create the same type of financial freedom for other people, and that's how the Income Snowball was born. Let's talk about the Income Snowball. Tanisha spent about 6 years in research and development. She created a system that can map the most efficient way for someone to create monthly income. So you can go ahead and look up the patent to see that. She spent a lot of time making sure that it was just right. Also, the Income Snowball calculator gives us a day when you can stop working, right? So you can start living the life that you deserve. And for most people, regardless of age or savings, we can see some real traction in the first 5 to 10 years. And then the Income Snowball was awarded a US patent in 2014. So let's talk about how it works. Okay, our monthly cash flow is $2,500. That means at the end of the day, after all of our expenses are paid, we have about $2,500 that we can go and spend. You're going to utilize a $10,000 line of credit. So this is where you hear OPM, other people's money. Banks do it all the time. You deposit some money into the bank, they're going to use your money to leverage and make some more investments, right? The power of money, the time value of money. So we're going to utilize a $10,000 line of credit, other people's money. You'll see that there's a credit card here. This is just for illustration purposes because most folks understand if you have a credit card and you borrow against it, you're only going to pay on the borrowed amount. Now, a line of credit works much better in this situation because credit card fees sometimes have fees when you're taking out cash. So we want a revolving line of credit, something that we can borrow from and pay back, borrow from and pay back. And we're basing this off of our cash flow. So we'll start with our $10,000 line of credit. We're going to buy an income producing asset, right? What does that mean? Amortized income payments, peer-to-peer lending, other things. Investing in alternative investments that are going to bring us cash on a monthly basis. Take the money and invest it. Now, this asset that you bought produces about $320 per month, okay? $300, and we're going to marry that $320 with our $2,500 to pay down the line of credit or the other people's money that we used. $320 plus $2,500 gets us to about $2,820 for the month. What we would do is we apply that towards the leverage account and we pay that off within about 3.5 months. Then we're going to use that and do it again. We're going to keep stacking it. Oh, my little person keeps getting away. I should take her off. Okay. We're going to borrow against the line of credit again and invest in another income producing asset. Now we have 2 investments that are stacking and pay us a monthly income of $320. $640 plus $2,500 gets us to $3,140. Now we're paying off our line of credit even faster, 3.1 months. So the Income Snowball, each time you use your line of credit, we call it a flip. Rinse and repeat. We're going to stack our monthly income so we can pay off our leverage faster to get to that next investment. So the first time we invest $10,000, we get these about $320 of payments each month. We pay that line of credit off in about 4 months and we do it again. This time, because we have more income coming in, it's taking us less time to pay off that line of credit. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And it just keeps repeating itself. So in this example, now remember, everyone's situation is unique, which is why we talk to you. We say, okay, what are your goals? What is your cash flow? What are your expenses? How long would it take us to get there? What type of investments support that? So typically in this example, after 8 years, the Income Snowball is self-sustaining. What that means is once we get to the financial freedom date, you no longer have to contribute that cash flow. Why? Because you've quit your W-2. You're financially free. Your expenses are covered. That means the Snowball is paying you enough to cover your expenses each month, as well as generate enough income to keep your Snowball going indefinitely. You're withdrawing, in this example, withdrawing about $3,500 a month to live. And your Income Snowball assets are worth $386,000. Really sounds a lot easier to get to $386,000 than to $1.2 million. So what now? Let's start with your goals. Sit down with a coach, no obligation, to just talk about your goals and what you're trying to do. Your coach will create a personalized plan on you, basically saying, okay, let's start with our cash flow. We're going to make about 3 or 4 investments each year and start to stack that cash on top of each other so that we can understand what our financial freedom date looks like. And then one-on-one coaching. Just like when you're learning something new, you're going through the process, each step of the way, you're going to have questions. And that's why we're there. We're there to help you each step of the way. So your personalized plan is going to tell you what your investment size is. How much do you need to borrow? And this is based on your cash flow. This is how we also mitigate risk. Also, you're debt-free. So we teach you how to utilize other people's money, but pay it off consistently in a time-controlled manner. And then financial freedom, right? What we always want. When your living expenses are covered by your passive income. What will your coach help you do? So one of the things that your coach is going to do is going to look at your overall situation and say, is my money performing to me at the highest and best use that it is right now? And if not, maybe we can run some scenarios to see what that looks like. Also, maybe we look at a spend plan, right? We never want you to change your lifestyle. Life is about living, right? Living now. So what is our cash flow? And we really see when people start paying attention to their cash flow, you seem to find those extra pennies around underneath the couch. So your coach can really help you understand how to increase your cash flow on a monthly basis. Then the calculator tells you exactly when you're going to increase your investment size. Now, we're building compounding cash on a monthly basis. We have to increase the investment size at some point. Otherwise, your investments will just flatline over time. The calculator tells you how much you should bump up by, and by how much you should bump up by and when you should bump up by, so that you have a clear plan to know that your previous investments are going to support you going up in investment size. Also, we're going to look at, how do these investments fit best with our lifestyle? I have some young children at home, so always compare this to purchasing a car, right? Say you are single and we both need a car. We need a car to get us to and from somewhere, hopefully have some good gas mileage and be safe. But if you're single and I have a brood full of children, right, we might be looking at different cars. Same thing with investments, right? There's no one size fits all. We start with investments that work really well with the snowball. You have multiple choices, and then you define which one works best for you. And staying accountable, right? We can put the plan in place, we can create the action steps, but sometimes we're not following through. And where is the gap? Is it a learning gap? Is it an implementation gap? Is it a risk management gap? Where do we need to concentrate? So your coach really steps through this process with you to make sure you have success. And the cool part about it is if you have debt, we can teach you how to pay off debt through leverage, but also invest at the same time. So you're kind of racing towards both of those goals simultaneously. This is a link. So if you just take your phone and you scan that, it will give you a free strategy session with me. My name is Kimberly Kennedy. If you're interested in how the Income Snowball works or how it can even help you make strides toward your goals, I'd love to sit on a call with you. It takes about 45, 60 minutes. I ask you a bunch of questions, you ask me a bunch of questions, and we can go from there. Also, if you're interested, I'm happy to send over the Income Snowball video, which talks about how this strategy works as well. Yep, includes your own personal. So once you have your meeting, you get your own personalized plan, a demo of the Income Snowball calculator, and then you can decide whether this system works best for you. Hi again, I wanted to say thank you for spending the last 20-ish minutes with me learning about the Income Snowball Strategy and TARDIS Wealth Coaching. If you're interested, please reach out. I'm also going to drop in the link for the Income Snowball video where Tanisha kind of goes through what that looks like in a little bit more detail. Please reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to being part of your team on your journey to financial freedom. Okay, talk soon.